Thank you for joining us.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Happy last Saturday in June. There's something like that. How are we doing? Welcome to one of our events with the Youth of Development Initiative. Kindly confirm you can hear me. A reaction, comments, awesome, clear. Um, yeah. Before we begin, let's just drop in the chat box. Where are you joining in from? What part of the world are you joining us from? Are you joining us from Nigeria? Are you joining us from where in Nigeria are you joining us from? If you know anyone who would also need this, you should probably reach out to them, tell them, oh, these guys have started the event, let's jump on it. So today we're going to be doing a deep dive into navigating graduate studies and securing scholarships. Right, we have an amazing speaker who has prepared ourselves to give us extreme value tonight. And while we wait for others to join, let's keep the chat box buzzing. What is your one expectation tonight? What are you tonight? Yeah. Welcome everyone that's just joining. You're welcome to an event held by Youth of Development Initiative, or a non-profit organization registered in Nigeria. We do things around education, um, helping persons in rural and underserved areas get access to value education through multiple ways. We do that through multiple ways. And here's one of the ways we are trying to promote that, um, having this conversation on how persons can get their graduate studies through scholarship, how they can navigate it. Yeah, so it's going to be an interesting event tonight. If you know someone who should be here, do not hesitate to send them the link. I'll be handing over now to the moderator of the session, Elijah Tewase. Hi Elijah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Awesome. So please, the mic is yours.
All right. Thank you, Say, for that warm opening remarks. Good evening once again, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you join us for today's webinar on navigating graduate studies and scholarships. Please, before we proceed, I would like to share a few housekeeping guidelines with us. Kindly keep your microphones muted unless you are invited to speak. And if you have questions during the presentation, please drop them in the chat and we will address them during the question and answer session. Dr. Say mentioned something. He said in the chat box, drop what you hope to learn from today's session, and I didn't see anybody dropping anything. Are we not excited? Can I get some reactions in the chat box, please? If I hear me very well, can you drop an emoji? Yes, thank you so much. Um, Welcome, Dr. Chris. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so our executive director is here. She has joined us on the call. She left. Yes, she has joined us on the call. So we'll be handing over the mic to her, an opening remark. Dr. Praise, over to you, ma.
Sorry, can you hear me? Yes. Yes, hello, can you hear me? Good evening, everyone. All right, so I'm currently in a place where my background is noisy. Apologies. Welcome to our capacity building section, which is focused on navigating graduate studies and scholarships. It's a delight to have you join us on the call. We are still expecting more persons, but we're grateful to everyone who has joined in already, and we would need to immediately begin. Just want circumstance, and we are yet to provide that support empowerment. So thank you very much. I wouldn't want to take our time. What really guides the work we do is we focus on five key areas, which is education, creativity, advocacy, technology, and therapy. And for us at Youth of Development Initiative, we are sort of bridging the gap in discrimination, literacy, and access to opportunities for young persons. And that's why the capacity building section is here to support your ability to apply for either graduate studies. So most persons on the call are actually looking at either applying for their masters or they are currently in their final year. So from the data we have, that's what we're able to really gather. So whether you're in your final year or you're a young professional or you're currently applying, this section will really improve your ability to understand the approaches, because for every phase you need to understand what each call for application really looks forward to, and also be able to understand how to best to represent yourself, because since it's something competitive, what they are looking out for are people who can represent themselves very well. So thank you very much, and do have an amazing section. Please ensure that you're engaging throughout the section. If there's anyone not yet on the call, please reach out to them to join the call because we have begun. Thank you so much, everyone.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Praise. Thank you. We really appreciate. That's what we do at UDOP. She said it all. So without further ado, but before I introduce the speaker, let's do a quick show of hands. How many people are considering applying for graduate school within the next 1 year, 2 or 3 years? Can I see our hands if are considering to do that? Wow, wow, wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing. So sure, you are in the right place. You are in the right place. And I'm very sure our guest, our speaker, will do justice to that. And as she's going to share value on this topic today, I would like to enjoin us to sit tight. Just grab your pen and paper and make sure you take enough notes. And if you have any question, please don't forget to drop it in the chat. That's if in case you are going to forget, and we are going to attend to it during the question. and answers. So it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker. So Josephine Adah is an energy and analytics professional contributing to planning, strategy, and organization of data-driven solutions for energy transition and market decision making in emerging economies. She works within projects and product teams to shape strategy, structure, delivery, and translate complex technical analysis into decision-ready insights, supporting national scaled digital transformation programs and energy systems initiatives with measurable operational and sustainability impact. So our strengths lie in program and product thinking, problem definition, stakeholder alignment, and roadmap design, combined with systems and data expertise. She is an MPhil, Master of Philosophy candidate in Energy Technologies at the University of Cambridge and a Mastercard Foundation Scholar. Wow. She brings strong analytical rigor and transferable business skills to early stage sustainability focused ventures. So please join me in the chat box as we welcome our speaker, Josephine Adah. Please, can I see us welcome her? Thank you so much. So, man, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here. Um, I'm Josephine Adah, and I'm currently doing my MPhil at the University of Cambridge, UK, and I'm a Mastercard Scholar. So I hope that this experience is going to be worth the while for you. And I'd really like it if you, just like they said, if you engage, ask questions as much as possible. And also be very free to ask questions. I usually tell people in my sessions that you should ask questions that cannot be found on Google. Like if you wanted to Google that question, you will not find it. So that's the kind of questions that I would really like you to ask, and I hope I'll be able to answer them to your satisfaction. I'm going to be sharing my slides now, and yeah. Yeah, so for this program, I mean, the grad school process is it's like a full job. So, while I was trying to understand what aspects I'm going to talk about, I just wanted to like specify about choosing your course, your school, your funding, and then the strategies to win and play. So maybe in the future, would have like maybe very specialized sessions for like workshops, maybe on specialized things as we go ahead. But this section is going to give you a brief overview of everything that you need to know to start your grad school journey. So one of the things I would like us to think about is that we should think about graduate school. So I would like us to think about it like a market, right? Think about it like a market and think about it like you are using money to buy things. So also look at it as capital or the expenses you are going to make or loss and gain. Because I think like when you start imagining things in when you start imagining things in terms of economic value, I think it just changes how you see things or basically how you interact with them. So We're going to be looking at where are you going, as it depends on the capital you have and if you can afford it. We're also looking at capital as per what do you bring to the table, what do you stand to gain, like what are your strengths and gaps. So I'm going to be using a lot of monetary terms, but the idea is to make it more engaging and just so that you have a view, like you look at it as someone is investing into you or you're investing into yourself, and it's not just like a normal walk through in the park. um sorry. So every application starts with basic requirements. Now, like I said, with my financial terms, these basic requirements are things that you need to know or you need to have before you even enter the market, right? You need to have a CV, you need to have a bachelor's degree, you need to have a transcript, and you need to have like English test or GRE where required. These are things that we call standardized tests. You need to have reference letters, and you need to have a personal statement and a statement of purpose where required. So these are um, these are basic requirements that you need to have. And I want to assume that everyone on the call like should have a bachelor's degree. I think most people are still young, even if they have left school. I think you should have applied for one or two jobs, or even if you've not, I think I'm going to explain what that is. Although you're not going to see a physical copy of a CV, but I'll be sending this after the call. And then you should start knowing what your transcript is. So let me even start from transcript first before we go to the rest of them. When you finish school or when you're done with your school, you are part of the things your department owes you is your degree, your transcript, and perhaps an English proficiency later. So try. Most times your transcript can be ready before your degree certificate is ready. So sometimes you see that they give you like statement of purpose, statement certificate something, right? They don't give you your real certificate, but there's a certificate that they give you, right? So, but some people wait till when they want to apply for scholarships before they now get their transcript. So, a action point I'll give you now is that if you graduated from school and are looking to start your scholarship journey, immediately after this call or like on Monday, try to find out how do I apply for my transcript, because that's one of the things that's within your control, but it can take time if you don't start now to plan for it. So try to get that. And I'm going to be walking through each of these basic requirements and then telling you like how to win in them or how to think about them as you use them for your graduate application um, process. So the mindset I want you to have is that access to the market is not the same thing as capital to buy something. So do you know how you everybody have access to Alaba markets, but it doesn't mean that like the person that has a big shop in somewhere in Lagos and the person that has kiosks that they have the same amount of money to buy. So the fact that you have access does not mean that you have the same capital to buy. And then like you one of the things you're going to see throughout this call is how I'm going to show you how those basic requirements that you're seeing are like they are meant to be capital instruments for you to buy, and then each of them have their different worth and how you can increase that worth basically. So meeting the minimum requirements gives you access to the floor, nothing more, right? But the quality and strength behind each requirement is actually what you need to trade. Hope we get that. So I want you to get that mindset, because with that mindset, I don't even need to say much. Even if it's not for this graduate school journey, it will help you in other other applications that you'll be doing along. Now, your profile is your capital. It is so I was asking like what's in the bank? We all have access to this market, but how much do all of you have in your account? And you asked me, oh, what is in the account? What is your account or what is your money is your profile. I don't know if you are getting me. So what is your money is your profile. When reviewers open your application, they're not seeing your fine face. In fact, they don't even know that I'm short. They don't know that I'm fat. They don't know if I'm a model or I'm slim. It is what is in that application that makes you stand out. So just like I said in the previous slide, we all have access, but how much capital do you have to buy? And so it is this profile that you build. So I'll show you how, like, some of these things are within your control that you can intentionally build. Some are not within your control. And so what do you do? So your first job that I'll advise anybody to do before you even start looking at graduate schools is, first, carry your profile and look at it and be able to check which one is in my control, which one is not in my control, how, like, what are the strengths and the weaknesses. But let's look at what I have on the slides. So within your control, like losing the basic requirements, I said your English tests and your GRE scores, that is your standardized tests, are within your control. Certifications and short courses, they are within your control. Volunteering and personal projects are within your control. And then personal statement and statement of purpose are within your control. Now, why is this important when things are within your control? When things are within your control, it means that you can add more or you can reduce. So it means that these are the things that you can actually use to impress the reviewing committee, or these are the things that if you don't get right, you would also look like you don't know what to do, right? So let me take for instance your English test scores. For each of the schools that I apply to, there's going to be a cutoff mark on test scores that you need. So imagine that there's a cutoff mark. First of all, let's even look at the things that you cannot control. Let's say you didn't get a good grade or something or something or something. And then there is a cutoff mark for English test, there's a cutoff mark for GRE. And you cannot meet up that cutoff mark. What do you think the reviewer will say? The reviewer will say, oh, you didn't get a good grade and you are not even meeting the cutoff mark. That is automatic disqualification. So these things that are within your control are things that you are meant to use to your leverage, right? And it's for everybody. Like I said, everybody has access. So you being on this call is me emphasizing it, or me opening your eyes to the different ways that you can actually stand out with these things within your control. So for the English test, for the GRE test, try to take them and try to prepare on time, because try to know that these things are within your control, so you have accountability to do well in them. Now, certifications and short courses, you might not have graduated well, or even if you graduated well, do not stop learning. I mean, you are going to graduate, you are going for graduate school, it means that you are a continuous learner. So do not stop learning. These things have like portions in your CV. It means that if perhaps the other things that are not within your control are not so strong, these are the places that you have to augment for it, right? I knew someone that was transitioning from one field to the other, not necessarily a very far field, but it was quite niche. And the person literally took like 30. I'm not trying to to scare you guys, but at some point, person took like up to 11 courses on Coursera on that new field. So you can see that even if the person is not particularly strong in the areas that they cannot control, the areas that they can control, please try to show some strength, right? Because like you said, like we said, everybody have access, but how much money do you have in the bank? So you are trying to increase the money you have in the bank. Another thing is volunteering and personal projects. These things have slots on your CV. And even if, like, sometimes in Nigeria, the question we always ask is, what is in for me in anything you're doing? Like, you say, oh, come and do this. How much will you give us? How much is this? Try to, like, yeah, we are going to meet people that are thinking on a very global standard. And one of the qualities, or even when you even see these billionaires, one of their qualities is that they are philanthropists, and they want you to be selfless at some point. They want you to think about people. So there's even a term called social entrepreneurship, that, or even if you are doing something social, you can still gain from it, but they still want you to give back to people. So ask yourself, I mean, there are things that maybe in school you might not have known this, or you're just knowing this for the first time. Try, this is within your control. Try to look out for places where you can volunteer that aligns with whatever you want to do. And then personal projects, this is something I also want to talk about. Some people would say, I don't have work experience. How do I get to apply? I'm seeing a lot of people that, oh, if you have to apply with 5 years of experience, 10 years of experience. I mean, there are some courses like that, but the normal courses that are not professional courses, right? How do you stand out in those applications? It's personal projects. How will you formulate personal projects is you can literally take an assignment that they give you in class that you enjoyed doing and maybe perhaps do a campaign on it. It could be a 1 week campaign on it. So maybe if you are a lawyer or you went to law school and something, and there is a topic that they taught, maybe they taught something on competitive pricing or price strategy or how to do all of those merger and acquisitions as a lawyer, you can pick it up as a personal project and then try to do like a social media campaign on that, maybe series on acquisition or just teach people, like have a webinar about that, teach people about that. You can see that with that you're increasing your value and you're increasing your money in the bank. Your personal statement and your statement of purpose is a it's something that you write. I'm going to be explaining later, but I can talk about it here. So personal statement is you write about you, like everything that made you want to do that particular course that you want to do. So you could say, okay, let me use myself as an example. I have a background in civil engineering, but the course I'm currently doing right now is in energy technology. So while I was in civil engineering and while I got experience, I also gained interest in energy. But then I needed to tell a personal statement on why are you doing energy now, right? Why didn't you just continue with your bridge, road, residentials, building infrastructure and everything? And for me, my personal, so it has to be personal. It has to be something that only you can think about. And that's why, I mean, you see that some people say, oh, don't use AI, don't use this. It's because AI does not know the whole of your life. It does not know the point that was a turning point for you. So an example for me, or what I try to use my essays so far is COVID was a turning point for me, right? I stayed in a quite a rural community that during COVID, when people were at home and there were free courses everywhere, people were trying to learn, philanthropists were giving free courses, free data. So the resources were available. But what happened to just feel like I could not access them because I didn't have light. Imagine, like everything is working to your favor, but a particular infrastructure issue in the energy sector is disrupting your growth. And that's like the personal story I try to build from. That oh, because of that, that now like made me very inquisitive on what's this energy thing? Why are we not solving it? Why has the grid collapsed in ten times in a year like that? So it has to be quite personal. Nobody, and please don't feel like your story is lesser than another person's story. Your authentic self. Like I'm sure if I did not tell you this story, you might not even have thought about that angle, right? But your like find your authentic self, find something that was a turning point for you in your life and try to explain. So when you're saying personal statement, don't go and tell us that we have 4 children or 5 children and everything, but try to what's it called? Try to show a turning point in your life and how that turning point is leading to what you want to do in your graduate school. Now, a statement of purpose is quite the serious one. It's not the one that they want to know about whatever turning point. It's basically okay, since you've discovered this turning point that you feel is your turning point, how have you equipped yourself to solve this problem? Or what do you know so much about this problem that you can contribute to it, right? And so that's where, so let me still use myself as an example. That's where I can now start saying that, oh, even if I've seen that this is a problem in Nigeria, my training as an engineer can also help me to solve this problem. I've had work experiences here, and during those work experiences, I've done research on this, and I'm trying to look at more in the energy market because perhaps I see that economics affects engineering and not just core engineering and core technical things. So I hope, I mean, if you do have questions, please just leave them on the chat as I go along, so that you don't forget. But I hope this is a bit clear in a way. Now let's come back to the money bank. Things that are outside your control. It's just like the way we say in Nigeria that I'm not nepo baby or I'm not trust fund kid. You know that when they give birth to you in Nigeria, you're not trustful kid. There are some things that are largely outside your control. Like you did not choose the family they gave birth to, you did not choose your siblings. So that one you can't change it, but you can change the other part of your life. And so that's how graduate school is. You can't really change like the rest of the things that you're doing. Like you can't really change these parts which are things outside your control. So for example, your undergraduate grades if you have graduated. So if you have graduated, you cannot change, like it's not your fault. Right? Like if you graduated with your first class, thank God for you. If you did not graduate with your first class, it's not your fault. But life has to keep moving, and which is also one of the things I try to do when I make seminars like that like this, that oh, this understand that this one is not in my control. I mean, the time if there are undergraduates on this call, this is also a time for you to know that okay, for this one is still in my control, right? But if you have graduated, my dear, it's not your control. So we look for ways to augment it as we go further, as I tell you, and even what I've told you before. Also, your course of study, jam you and give you a course. Maybe you did not like the course, or you like the course, or you did it, or in the middle of doing it, you liked it, or while you were doing it, you now realize that there was a conjunction or addition to another course that you wanted to do. But you cannot change your course of study as of now, right? What can you do? Do you get? Another thing that is outside your control is your reference letter. Though you can choose wisely whom to ask, but it's really outside your control how this letter is delivered, or what in the way the letter is taken. And so let me try to let me see our next slide, and then I'll also try to touch about these areas, because apart from knowing that it's not in your control, you need to know whatever you are doing that can help you augment for it. And like I said, your English test, your certifications, your volunteering, personal statement are things in your control. So if you had a grade like 2.2 or 2.1 in your what was it called, in your bachelor's degree, and you've not done an additional master's to augment for that, and you are going to go for a master's, right? Then it means that you ask yourself, okay, I don't have my grades, I can't change it, but my certifications and my courses, my dear, there's how you have 2.1, you have done was called safety certifications, HSC, NEBOSH, all these other ones, like the certification profile is packed. So even if someone wants to tell you that, oh, you have 2.1, is the person not seeing the certifications you've done? Do you understand? So in all of these things, you are building evidence. Like this is that your lawyer eye, open it, because you are building evidence for yourself. Now, for your course of study too, you can't change it from your bachelor's. But let's say while you were doing while you knew that this course cannot help me, and even as I want to go outside, I shall want to do another course that will help my life. I don't want to. So some one of the things I see in the Nigerian system when they're going outside is that they're not, how I say, ambitious or exploring. It's not their fault. It's just sometimes they choose the safe path. But you know that you studied a particular thing. You know that that thing is not serving you, right? How do you now want to transition to another thing and you want to use it in your masters? It still goes back to these things that I said are within your control. So please, every slide on this presentation, don't look at it and just read it through. Try to apply it to yourself. So it's still you now have to look at the things within your control. Okay, this course I don't know, like I don't like it, but I don't want to do it in my masters. What can I do? Right? Can you do short courses? Can you gain work experience? Can you take certifications? If there are certifications, they are such that if they look at your profile, person can confidently say that, oh, even if you did this course, you've successfully transitioned to another course. And in your statement of purpose, on your personal statement, do not, like, that's now what makes you authentic. That, oh, I started with I don't even know what example to use because I don't want to send it to any course, but you can say that, oh, I started with this course, but I now found this line, right? So okay, let me use for example, let me see my use myself. The time where I wanted to apply for AI in my masters, or is also something I plan to do later. But then, as of that time, what I did was my thesis project was in AI for construction industry. It was a theoretical project. It was not necessarily like a coding project. But then I used that as my epiphany. I was like, part of the results I saw from my thesis project showed that for people to like for or for engineers to merge the gap between AI and civil engineering, they have to have AI skills. And so that is why I'm applying for this master's in AI. You get. So try to show evidence basically. This graduate school program is an evidence in supporting application. Now, your CV is a place that hosts all of these things. That it hosts like all of this your portfolios, your work experience, your grade, your courses of publication, volunteering, personal projects. It hosts it. So I mean, if someone say send me your CV, it's like someone is saying send me your profile, like your profile capital or your just like we call it profile capital, right? But then, like I said, each of these things have different rating. And one of the things I would like to show you that even if your like just like I said before, even if your grades are not your strongest cards, build the next one. So check targeted work experience, courses, publication, or project that can show your skill. Another good what's it called tactics that we try to use when we're advising people or when we're consulting for graduate school is if you did graduate with a first class and you're happy with it, oh yes, put it when you're writing your CV, bachelor's in science. Yes, bachelor's in science, um BSc Zoology. You had a first class. Please put your first class. Happy for you. But let's say your requirements for the course that you're applying for said you have to have like does not like your requirement for the course you're applying for. You know that that course is competitive, and you just putting a second class upper or two might not work. Then please you can put your grade there. You have actually graduated. Let it be that when someone, so you don't want that the first thing that someone is looking at your profile is already a disqualifying element, right? Um, so I mean, perhaps the person can see it in your transcript, and when you are also writing your personal statements, you can talk to it that, oh, perhaps when I was in school, I lost my father, mother, or something, or I had financial issues, or I had like a break in my studies that disrupted my life or study plan that did not help me to meet up this goal. But and then because of a cumulative system, it was very hard for me to cover up. But then you also be able to show that see oh, even if I graduated with a 2-1 or a 2-2, see the work experiences I've had, see the certifications I have done to show that I am still capable to do this work. Do you get? So it is an evidence building phase, right? And then if maybe you've checked, my work experience is not so strong, or the way it is right now, just like for example in Nigeria, yeah, some of the job we are doing is not aligned to your career. It is aligned to the money that they are giving you. No problem. It's just where you come from. What you can do by the side is start volunteering for people that is even working in the field that you want to work that aligns with your career. Oh, maybe you're in the banking system but does not align with your career. Stay there, stay in the banking system, collect the money that you need, because in your graduate school process you still need to finance some costs, right? But don't forget to still join your professional bodies in the career phase that you want to go to, or don't forget to still keep in touch with people that are working in the firm and people that can still like direct you into the right place. Don't forget to volunteer. Oh, you're doing a project. Oh, I'll be very interested to join. Even if it's very small contribution, don't forget to just keep adding those little drops, because when you're doing your graduate school application, you can still say, oh, banking helped you in, I don't know the skills you get from banking, right? You can still use it, but they also want to see a track record of what you've been doing since. So these things have different ratings. Try to um analyze how much you have in the bank. Please, if you can type on the comments the money you have in the bank. So when you're looking at your CV, ask yourself, can this money buy me admission? Can this capital that I have, this profile, can you buy me admission in this country or that country? It is the money, that is the money. When you're looking for money, look at that your CV. Look at the different part of your profile. So I want to say here that sometimes when you look at the whole profile, you might feel like, "Oh, I'm not doing enough." But look at the different sections. There are some that you can add up to, and it can help you in strengthening your profile. So by strengthening your profile, you're increasing your capital and you're increasing your money in the bank. Yeah, so two practical steps about your CV. Take a holistic process, right, about your CV. I mean, when you're applying for grad school, it's quite different from when you're applying for a job. So when you're applying for grad school, they want to see the all of you. And maybe when you're applying for a job, they just want to see like how it ties into the economic part of that job you're applying for. Where we're applying for grad school, we are training you to be what class speakers or thinkers in your field. So every single part of it counts. So an example for me was when I was doing my Cambridge interview, it was the internship I had in my first year, like first year of undergrad. And mind you, my course is 5 years. After 5 years, I did NYC. I had like 2 years of experience. It was that internship I did in first year that my interviewer was like, "Okay, tell me about. I mean, you said you worked in the construction of a power plant. Tell me about it." And I mean, the interview went well, but I was just thinking to myself, like, what if I had dropped out that element? Perhaps they would have thought that I was not qualified enough, or I don't know what I don't know, but try to look at, oh, what are the relevant things, no matter how small, even if it correlates, please add it to your CV. It's sometimes in the job place that you'll say, oh, if it's more than 3 years or 2 years, just remove it so that you not look not recent. Please, in the academic CV, which at the end of the call, at the end of the process, I'm going to show like an example, you should add everything. Everything it counts. But then while you're adding everything, have like a target, right? A 2 page, like try to make it 2 page, or try to 3 page can be a stretch. I mean, you're not yet a professor yet, so let's well, you're not yet a professor yet, so 3 page can be a stretch. Try to put it in place. If I have time during the questions and answer, if someone asks me, I can show you how I format my Word document. That's the same Word one page you're using, but there's a particular length or page formatting that I'll use, and I can still fit more things inside my CV, and it can still be fine. Another thing is that follow the school's instruction, please. Do not, like, that instruction is your highway to life. When I just read instructions are your highway to life. So look at the instructions and follow it. I mean, I think now we're done with the CV section. If you do have any questions, please put in the chat box. I'll be happy to answer. Now, English proficiency test. Please also be very careful. Like, listen to all these things I'm saying that is within your control, without your control. Listen to it, because at the middle of this presentation, I'm also going to be talking about like the 5 step methodology. So we're just building in before we now go to the winning methodology or the strategy. So, depending on the country you're applying to, some will said they want you to speak English. They want you to they have to show want you to show improvement in English. Some also say that they want you to take your GRE, but because you understand, this thing is part of your control. These things are hard. I'll not lie, it's still hard, but it is part of your control now, and you're trying to prove a point. You're trying to prove a point that well, I'm better now that I'm out of school and out of stress than when I was in school. So even if it's hard, I'm not trying to say it's not hard. Even if it's hard, put in the work and do it. If your program requires a GRE exams, what's it called? Put the same logic that it applies and do your best in it. If it needs an English test, so one of the tricks is with English tests is you can write to this, like if the school does not explicitly say, if the school says that, oh, if you were taught in English, that's fine. Then what you can do is that you can write to your own university in Nigeria. I'm sure every university should have that. Mine had that. You write to the admissions office to give you a letter to prove that you were taught in English. But sometimes it can work, right? So, for example, for my situation at Cambridge, I didn't have to write the English proficiency. I mean, I did write, but I didn't have to submit it because they said that, oh, Nigeria, like once your country fall among the countries that did English or were taught in English throughout your program, um you can access it. But then when I came to Cambridge, I still had to write like an English test from Cambridge itself so that they can certify that okay, you are truly taught in English and not doing us mistakes. But these are the type of tests that you should look at. So you should look out for IELTS, TOEFL, Duolingo, and the Cambridge English test. Another thing I was saying that this thing depends on the instructions on your portal. For example, for Cambridge and for Oxford at the moment, the roads at Oxford, they're not accepting TOEFL for now. So don't just say, oh, just say we should write IEL, TOEFL, Duolingo. Look out for where you're applying to and what their requirements is, and then look out for it as well. Because some people you can go and write Duolingo and they are not accepting Duolingo. Um they're not accepting Duolingo. They are accepting what's it called? Um Another one. So someone said I should pin my screen. I think I've done that. I hope it works. Thank you for the feedback. Reference letters, these ones, they are outside your control. I mean, you get to choose them, but you don't get to decide. I mean, someone is writing it for you, it's not you. And so one of the things I want to head out is sometimes when we look at reference data, we look at the big people. I mean, while all of those things are good, right? It doesn't have to be. I mean, the name is good. In Nigeria, we like name, we like title. But these people want someone that can speak to your abilities clearly. For example, I think one of the scholarships like Commonwealth, they'll basically ask you for a peer reference letter. So it's not even about, oh, this peer is doing this, like peer is like your mates, right? So it means that they want someone that have known you, have seen you through thick and thin, and can able to speak to your ability to survive graduate school. I think that's a very important word because some people just feel like you just go come back. You need to be able to survive. So you need to be able to survive, and they need someone to say, "Oh, out of all of these things that we've done, or this person has said, this person can actually survive graduate school." So one of the rules is one of the things I will say is that let your referee let's choose something that someone that has genuinely worked with you and can speak to an evaluation of you, right? So someone that doesn't work with you and can speak to an evaluation of you. I will come back to explain that, but this is like a list that you can build. So build a list, mix like academic references. Don't limit yourself to titles, guys. Don't limit yourself to titles. Secondly, check for availability. So I do have like a potential list. If I even call them potential referees. So sometimes I work with someone, person not even my referee, but I'm like, oh, I think I've worked with this person. Let me add this person to the list of potential referees. So check availability. Hi, dear Dr. This, how you doing? Trust you're well. I'm looking at applying for a postgraduate studies in this. Considering the timing, I don't know if you'll be available to support my application as a referee. Sometimes some people ask me, oh, just why do you do that? I do that because I want them to be able to know that they said yes. So guy, you said yes. You said yes that you're going to what's it called, support my application. At some point they can say, oh, I'm busy now or something, but I just also want to carry them along that, oh, you committed to this, can you keep to it? It's not by force, but try to check their ability and try to make them commit. Protect authenticity. So the letter must be real and evaluate a working relationship. So let me give you an example or cite how different things work. Now, people that are lucky to have their deans or their HOD supervise them, fine, good for you. I'm very happy for you. Fine, fine. But even if, let's now even say, even those people who supervise you and they're not available, what do you do? Is it only your supervisor or your HOD that can reference you? No. One of the things I did was, for example, so let me go back to my AI story, right? I was telling you about how I wanted to, like, I actually applied to most programs that talked about references or something. And one of the things I did was there's a course called like computational engineering. Sorry for like non-STEM people, but I have to speak from my experience. The course called computational engineering. It is a general course done in the engineering department. And I had this lecturer from the electrical and computer engineering taught us, right? And this that was how I formed the basis of my reference data. So I was like sometimes you get to give these people points on what to write just so that they remember you because I've been teaching a lot of students year after year. And I came back and I was like, oh ma, please can you help me write a reference data? Okay, yes. These are the pointers. So let me explain this so you realize that the little things matter. Josephine took my class in engineering 301, computational this, where she did topics on information theory, um what's it called, algorithms, blah 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 blah. And then after all of that, Josephine got an A. I not even stop there. If you got a B, fine, no problem. But oh sorry. So Josephine got an A, and that A, it was that she was like one of the top 20% of 1,000 people that we had in the engineering faculty. Because that course, people usually fail it. So if you pass that course, you just know that your CGPA is going to be good. I think it was like a 4 unit load course. So Josephine had an A, not just the A, she was part of the top 20% of people that got the course A in the history of the course. So you can see how a small thing after expanding it. Aside from that, I was also able to point out that when you were in class, Josephine was very inquisitive. She ensured to use her office hours, and during her office hours, she was able to bring more problems that helped like discussion and all of those things. I mean, in those things, you are just listening to it as story. But someone that is reading it is seeing that, oh, Josephine is committed. Josephine works with people to help them solve problems. Josephine is a good communicator. If I do admit her into my program, I will not have a problem with her communicating with academics or professionals, right? I think there was also different parts about when I even said, oh, we did a group project. These are things that you might feel like a course, it's just one course now. What's my business with that course? But if you sit down and analyze the different things you did with that lecturer on that course alone, you will realize that it must not be your supervisor or it must not be your HOD. That those things are enough to give you ample points um for your reference letter. Do you understand? So by the time you even add those specifics that you did in that particular course, add the grade that you got. So even if you got a B, at least B, or look for a course that you got a B or A. You understand? Add the specifics that you got a B or A. Try to put the rank in it. Because for example now, the course we did in statistics, I think most of the people, the highest score in my class then was a C or a B, right? You might feel like a C is low, but if they tell you that, oh, among this C was the top, you understand? Like it shows that these students can strive in difficult places. So don't just make it generic or make it more of it's only your thesis project or something. Let your whole school life be part of like that reference letter, because that's how they can show your like that's how they can prove authenticity, and you can show how unique you are. So one of the key takeaway I want to take from reference letters is, yes, your supervisor is good to give you a reference letter, your HOD is good to give you a reference letter, but the content matters. And when people ask you what's the content is everything you've done in that course. Right. So I think here in Cambridge is one course that we did like 4 coursework, like 4 different assessment strategy, right? 4 different assessment strategies. So even if that person is not my supervisor, even if that person is not my supervisor and I need a reference letter from there, I can go and say, oh, we did this course project together, you evaluated it. We did second course, you evaluated it. By the time I share 4 or 5 places where you've evaluated my work, it still counts, okay? So don't rely on it has to be supervisor or HOD, because sometimes you might even find a junior lecturer or maybe a doctor that is a senior lecturer but is not yet a professor that can give you a like beneficial, what's it called, reference letter, and you're just sleeping on it because you want titles. I already talked about personal statement and statement of purpose, but let me just say it again. It depends on your personal experiences and your choices. Why did you decide to study this part? Why this part in your own story? Sometimes we get very touching news. Like someone can say, I mean, in the Western world, my cat got sick, and my not let me not use cat. My dog got sick, and my dog was a medical aid to my grandma. And I realized that how when my dog got sick, this one that what happened, and maybe that what stimulated me to study veterinary medicine. Right? Like let it be your personal um aftermath of things. And then your statement of purpose is the serious one. So you're not just saying your dog got sick and after made you study medicine. I said after you now knew your dog got sick, I wanted to study veterinary medicine. What did you now do? What did you now learn in the knowledge of dog sicknesses that can help you say, okay, I can succeed in this course? So your statement of purpose should tell you why you are a fit for what you're applying for, how you're grounded in the field and not just your ambition. So take notes on how like you're doing this. So another thing I'd like to add here or take away from here is sometimes we just like to stay in the ambition place. Me, I'm queen of Delulu. So we just like to stay in the Delulu place. Oh my god, this is the reason that made me want to take this course. But you've not shown your technical fit for it. So try to separate it. Some people might get A in personal statement. When it comes to statement of purpose, they're getting F because they're like, yes, we liked your ambition and drive for this thing, but we're not seeing how you have done work. I mean, you're applying for graduate school, applying for something. You've not, maybe you're applying for water treatment or something. You've not checked papers, at least one or two papers to review that. Oh, what is, I mean, they thought you finished school 5 years ago. You still want to use that your former 5 years knowledge to be writing your statement of purpose. Why don't you go and look at papers? Because I mean, as a graduate student, you're still going to be looking at papers. Read papers in your field. Even if so, sometimes even if you don't have to bring something very innovative from beginning, you just need to be able to um articulate what someone else have explained. Because in graduate school, they're going to read papers that you don't understand, but you have to understand it. So even having to show an understanding of someone else's papers is a very good point that you can fit into your statement of purpose, right? So, oh, before now, I thought this technology was working, but now in my recent reading, I realized that this technology is working. But then my thoughts is, what is the um conjunction between the old technology and the new technology? And in this my current research, I would like to find that meeting point between these two. So it shows that you are not just, not say what is in the social media, but it shows that you're not doing Olodo mentality. Like even if you're Olodo, try to put the effort to go and look for one paper or two papers that can support your argument. Looking for my cursor. Okay. Now you've known the requirements, you've known the things that can be money in your bank. I think there used to be one wrestling thing when they say, oh, money in the bank, money in the bank. So you've known what is money in your bank. But then we're looking at what are the 5-step processes of all of these things and how can you play to win. So you've known this is the amount. So let's even put it now. Let's say first class, you have £30. Second class upper, you have £20. Second class lower, you have £10. So let's have that, for example, in our mind. This is the money this person has accumulated in their bank based on their profile. So I'm going to walk you through these 5-step processes and how to play to win. So please, these things I'm saying that you see on the screen, it might look like very simple. You just read this, research your options, finance your studies, complete your application, apply for visa, prepare to travel. Please, it is simple, but I want you to think deep into it. So let's go to research your options. Search your options is to find the market that is built for you, my dear. You know that there are some people that are selling luxurious items on Instagram. You cannot buy that one. If you don't have plenty money, you cannot buy that one. So you cut your coat according to your clothes. There are some people that their market is the normal Akara market that we are selling, which means that everyone that has small money can go and buy. So remember in the first part of this presentation, we're talking about how to build your money. Now you have money. It's now where to go and buy this thing in the market. You understand? So this is the most important stage because everything I'm going to talk about is researching your options. And I think this is where people fail is because they want someone on the internet to tell you that, oh, this thing is working, no, go and do it. Or this one is working, no, go and do it. No. Your journey and your profile is different from everyone else. This is where you start bearing your father's name. So look for things that are unique to yourself, to your problem, to your advantage, to your disadvantage. Look for the things that are unique to you. Right? So, sorry, excuse me. For example, you ask yourself, okay, why this country? Why am I going to this particular country? Does this country favors me? The weather, is it okay for me? Is it easy of living? Right? Try to list out your own personal criteria, right? Some people just want to, is Canada is working now, they're going to Canada. It's UK, it's UK. So it might not be all of those things. Try to have that articulation. I've seen someone that have said, oh, I'm going to China for my undergrad. Why? They have their own reason. And perhaps that works for them. I saw someone that one is from India. Person went to Hong Kong for undergrad. I'm like, undergrad? The person was like, yes. Why? In Hong Kong, they had international like scholarships for people from international places. But how would the person know? It's because the person was able to find their options. A friend of mine that was from, I think from Zambia, told me that, oh, in the years past, let's say I think it's up to 5 years I'm done with uni, or like 5 years ago, it was that the school fees in China was cheaper than the one in Zambia. Do you understand? What in China was cheaper. So for them to send her to China was cheaper than for her to go to the best schools in Zambia, and so that's why they went to China. But you won't know, like if you're just following every trail on the internet, you will not know. So please, everything is unique to you. You ask yourself, does this profile, based on my profile combination, like I'm doing tech, biochemistry, computer, community management. This program, is it a niche program for me? Is it better than a core one? Can I survive then? So let me give you an example. When I was looking at programs to apply, so like I said, I wanted to do energy. I was a bit, even if it's the same engineering, I was drifting away from my core field. So I needed to look for a program that was interdisciplinary, right? It meant that if I go and apply for a program that is core power distribution, that's electrical engineering, my dear, rejection is my name. But if like I look for a program that is interdisciplinary, that is the one that suits me. So don't just be doing and following. That is the one that suits me. So that's why I chose that program, right? So I'll try to tell you that research your options, guy. I don't know how to say this thing. It's not, I mean, it's good to follow people on internet so that you get one of the like high rising what's it called catches, but please research your options. Everything is central to you. Your problem, your the money you have is different from the money another person have. By one money I mean profile capital, not real cash. You understand? Now you can ask yourself, where can I avoid costs? Like I want to avoid costs, like like costs that has to do English test or something. If that is your problem, I don't know why you'll be going to a country that you have to do English language like certification, maybe because they are called like maybe they are stay speaking another English language or something. So you have to choose what works for you. Now the thing that people don't know is that there is an option built for everyone, my dear. You just have to set it out. If nothing fits yet, if maybe in all your searching, nothing you have not seen anything that fits, I've already told you how you can build capital. Don't force it. Just go back and build the capital to close the gap instead. You understand? Like there's some things. I think there was a meme that said, I think I should have added it here. There was a meme that said people cannot buy shawarma again in Nigeria. Someone said, "Oh, my salary is 20,000." And the person said, "You should not even bother. You should not even bother trying to buy shawarma." So, if maybe you search and there's no one that works for you, don't worry. Instead of you thinking of how to use that your 20K to buy shawarma and you suffer, try to look for how you can earn more. And note that this is relating to the capital one at given. So please, there's something for everybody. Okay? Don't just follow the crowd. Look for something for you. Do you get? If you've stayed out of academics for long, you've had a lot of work experience, try to look for programs that are professionally based. Right? For example, there's a program in civil engineering, it's called construction management. If you don't have up to 3 to 5 years of experience, they're not accepting you in. So that is a strength for you that have work experience that you feel that you've left school. Then if you are coming out from school, your head is hot. Try to look for programs that are your core, like this one's first class, you just came out from school, you're hot, you did this event. You understand? Look for something that match for you, and there's something for everyone. So please don't allow anybody tell you that there's nothing for you. And like I said, if your money did not reach, go back and build capital. Fine. So step two, right? Remember our 5 step processes. I'll be rounding up soon. So step two is finance your studies, know your scholarship types. My dear, what I want to tell you is that follow the money. As you are doing the research, follow the money. Because for most times, or the question will ask you that, oh, can you self-fund? If you can self-fund, oh, fine, then look for something that works for you. But if you cannot self-fund, my dear, you have to look for a combination of two. You have to follow the money and you have to research the one that is related to you. So that external scholarships, right? These external scholarships, they fund you, but it's not tied to your school or it's not tied to a particular course. So for example, the Chevening scholarship the Commonwealth scholarship. So let me speak on these scholarships a bit, because so that you understand how researching your options will make you find these scholarships. So for example, the Chebeni scholarship is very big on work experience. It's very big on leadership opportunities. So what that means is that if you've had ample work experience, yes, number one. Number two, you have leadership opportunities or volunteering opportunities. Number two, traveling might be a good one for you. Why am I saying that? Because even if you've had two and you are able to get admission, there's some schools I will say, oh, and some schools in the UK do it. To tell you that the minimum you need to get is two, you get it. So it means that if your situation is that I have two, but I have years of experience, I have leadership, I have volunteering, but I still want to find a place, right? Do I mean Chevelin? Chevenin. I said, oh, better is Chevenin. The spelling is on the screen. Chevenin, not Chevelin. Chevenin. So, um, so you can see that because you're able to find something that works for you, you found a niche for yourself. Commonwealth is the same. Commonwealth is about the same thing as well. So try to look for either external scholarships or there's some that are specifically tied to your school. So, for example, the Gates Cambridge Scholarship is tied to Cambridge. It means if you not apply to Cambridge, you cannot get it. The Rhodes Scholarship is tied to Oxford. If you not apply to Oxford, you cannot get it. The Mastercard Foundation Scholarship, even if it's a broad network of scholarships, is tied to a particular school. Mastercard Foundation in Cambridge is different from Mastercard Foundation. Like it's the same foundation, but the processes are different, right? So individual schools might have specific ones tied to a particular school or tied to a particular course. Now, there are also internal scholarships, right? These are ones that are either offered by the department or the universities, or sometimes are tied to like research assistant. So I learned something today and I want to tell you. Someone was saying that you might feel like this internal school, because this internal scholarship, there are very few. They might say, oh, you're just giving it to one person or two people. My dear, try to apply for them too. Don't say that place where it's hard, please go and dig your diamonds there. Because the same way you are seeing it as hard, people don't want to do hard things. So perhaps if everybody is saying, oh, we're all going to Chevening, oh, do you know how many people that apply to Chevening every year? Because a lot of people apply to, is my screen moving at all? Okay. Because a lot of people apply to Chevening, right? It means that there's a lot of chances for people to move out. But if you are seeing an internal scholarship or a specific scholarship that you've known and it ties to whatever you're doing, just try to apply for that. Try to put in the push, right? And try research your options, guys. Research your options. So, for example, Mastercard Foundation Scholarship. The scholarship is based on sustainability, leadership, and it depends on the school. So I know that Mastercard in there's this one in US, Arizona. Some of them they want you to show innovation, technology. But for example, the one in Cambridge, they want you to show sustainability, right? So if you don't research your options, how will you know that that particular one is available for you? So try to research your options. In fact, if you want to get lazy, just know that the film will tell you research your options. So like I said, follow the money and count the costs, right? Know where to look. For Nigerian options, I see people say, oh, Nigeria, there's still scholarship available for you. The PTDF scholarship is one of the most recurring Nigerian scholarships in Nigeria, and it's well funded and is also well paid. So look out for it. If you're in the environmental field, I think right now they're even wanting to introduce people that are more in computer field or technology field. Try to look out for it and apply. So once you're looking at doing your postgraduate in Nigeria, try to look out for try to look out for these particular things and apply. Now there's also something called the ASC Speed EU Scholarship. Now I've told you, try to look out for it. I think it's in collaboration with like 5 universities in Nigeria. I think University of Nigeria, which I know. I think there are others, University of Ibadan and the rest. Now, like I said, research your options. I know one of my mentors that went to University of, is it Benin or Ibadan or whatsoever, thereabouts. And in a particular department, there's a funding by Shell for petroleum geosciences. So if you do not know your options, or if you do not research your options, how will you have known that that particular department has funding? And you're feeling that, oh, Nigeria, they don't have things, but research, ask, right? Well, another thing is that try to ask correspondent to your programs that you're targeting, where to look. Oh, I'm coming to this program. I've seen that these are the scholarship available. Are there others? Right? Also, you can try cold emailing professors about research opportunities and funding. It's slower, but it works and it reduces the competition basically, because not everybody would cold email, but there's no guarantee I'm also going to get a response. Count your costs. Sometimes people just look at the, oh, school fees or something, but try to count your costs. Counting your cost means before you go for these graduate studies, you have to take tests. You might have to need to pay for mentorship. You might have to need to pay for application fees, evaluation, and add it up. So evaluation. So for people that have not heard it, it's actually, you know, that some of our GCGPA is like 5.0 or the rest, and then sometimes our scores, like for example, some people university in your university A is 75, in some people A is 80, right? So this evaluation is more like a way to standardize your transcript to the Western world, right? And this is also a very big tip, but it is also a bit costly. So you see these people that some people will say, oh, I had high 2-1 or something. This might be something that you could use to in your favor. So some people that have high 2-1 in the US 3.5, so they are only on a 4-point scale. So 3.5 over 4.0 is a first class, is that they're high. But maybe because you're on the 5-point scale, you're not a 4-point scale. If you do have money to do the West evaluation and you have your marks come up to like maybe 3.49, you can see that it shows that you're almost in first class level, right? So that's also a way you can show evidence. That's if you have your money, but it's quite expensive. So look at it. Now, these are programs that you can apply now. Education USA is out. I think you can check my Instagram page for that. But Education USA application is out. They help you with mentorship programs and um like all of these things we are doing, like there they make it more detailed. Your CV, they do a CV workshop for you, they do a personal statement workshop for you, and they give you mentors. Same to Michael Taiwo. I think Michael Taiwo is ending this month, so try to look for it and apply for it. iScholars Initiative, I think that was out and it has ended, but keep your eye on it. um 8B education investment, please check this one. I don't know if like they're still running, they are free. So as of the time I was applying them, these people, they used to give free IELTS vouchers, GRE vouchers. So try to do that. Try to check them out. Other ones that you can see are like Cable Scholarship, Black in AI. Please, as I'm giving you these names, just put them into Google. This is also time to start practicing your graduate school skills, right? You just need to know the names, put them into Google and start searching. You understand? So these scholarships will help you cover the preliminary costs sometimes for your grad school application. Now, while you are researching your options, you know I was talking about money in the bank and the markets. You can say, okay, oh, these people, if I have money or something, I want my dream schools. For some people, they get into there, but some people they don't. But what I'm trying to say, don't reduce your dream because of your money. Dream big, even if you have small money. Is a quote we use in Nigeria. So dream big, even if your pocket is small. But try to be realistic in some point, right? There are dream schools where they tell you that acceptance rate is I mean, it's 2% or 4%. That means if 100 people apply, it's only 4 people they will take. That means inside that 100, there are people that are very, very good, but because of that acceptance rate, your chance is small. That does not mean that you should not dream big. Put it in your dream school bucket, right? Secondly, there are some places where you know that this one, I'll struggle small, but I'll not struggle too much. My place, like my profile, my money can buy these products. You understand? I will not struggle too much, but my money can buy it. It's not too luxurious, it's middle class market, my money can buy it. So this is where your profile gives you a genuine edge. So try to apply to those schools too. Then lastly, please don't forget these schools because some people will just forget it. Lastly, look for programs that you are well matched to. In fact, sometimes you can be an overfit for. Like it can be programs that this one, let me go the choose lecturer or something. Apply to them because you want to. I think the next thing I want to say is that the way you can know that you have money is if you can take it to the market and you can buy something. See, now sometimes in Nigeria, I will say, I have money, but this money cannot buy anything. So the way you can know that your profile or your capital that you are building is money you can pay is when you apply and it can get you something. So please don't just concentrate on your high school. Like someone can ask you, what schools are you applying to? You just tell me that I'm applying to only Oxford, Harvard, Imperial. My guy, let's be very realistic. Have like three buckets of those schools you're applying to. I'm not saying you should not dream, but dream realistically. Okay. Now, remember we talked about the step 4 and 5 about visa and travel. Build it into your criteria. Don't build it as an afterthought. Some people, yes, you set your options, follow your funding, and all of those things, but then they'll forget that this country I'm going to, they don't used to give Nigerians visa. So you did not realize that they don't used to give Nigerians visa from the start. The time section is at the end because we were looking for top five universities in the world. You not realize that those top five they don't used to give Nigerians visa, right? So don't think that your school is above immigration policy or the school you're applying to is not above immigration policy. So sometimes it's tempting for you to think for of immigration or visa things after you've gotten the admission. Please think about it from the beginning, not after, so that you don't have a you don't want to have a funding in your hand or an offer in your hand and an immigration policy is against you, right? So that's why all of these things I'm giving you strategies. I'm telling you research your options, know the market that can work for you, the one you can buy, the one you cannot buy now. You understand? So that you can go to places that are favorable to you based on what you search. So favor places where immigration policies work for you in your favor and try to prepare early for visa interviews. Like I said, all of these different methodologies have in-depth workshops which like are open for consulting. But like based on what we you need to know, I feel like these are things that if you know, it can help you make decisions on how to apply, where to apply, and where to win strategically. Few final words, finally coming to closing. Few final words would be that prepare with like minds, right? Please, I know sometimes whenever I want to do this scholarship journey, is most times everybody is secretive. I mean, you'll be with your people in you have friends, 5 people in the same room. People are applying to things. Nobody is saying anything. Stop it. Stop it, please. I don't like it. Right? Prepare with like minds. If because for example, the 8B investment opportunity I was telling you about, I didn't know about it. But someone was saying, Josephine, I got GRE's voucher. I was like, why are they giving you GRE's voucher? GRE voucher that is about 200 and something dollars. Where did you find it? The person like, I go to 8B. Right. So imagine that I was not preparing with like minds, or I was not actually vocal about the fact that please I'm preparing for graduate studies or something. You will not know that this opportunity is available to me. So please, it brings exposure, opportunity and encouragement because the journey is a lot. You need a lot of support. Right. Speak to past attendees and scholars to gain perspective. Try to do that. Try to do that because you gain inside information, right? So let me give an example for where I am at Cambridge. For Mastercard wants to connect African people to world-class universities, right? So if you message me and you tell me that you're from Eswatini, I did not know that the country, pardon my, I didn't know African countries a lot, but I didn't know there's a country like Eswatini. I'm like, okay, this is African country. Yes, it's African country. So it means that if you're coming from countries like Eswatini, or you're coming from Guinea, or you're coming from like African countries that are not well represented in global institutions like this, I'll tell you, Mastercard is for you. Mastercard is for you because they want you. You understand? They want to increase their diversity. So let's speak to past attendees and scholars because it helps to give you perspective. Start early, know the portal and know the submission dates for your target country and the target country you're applying to. So, for example, I think for US, for UK, for my school, yes, it also depends on on the school. For Cambridge, Cambridge admissions or it closes like 5th December. That's if you want funding. But if you don't want funding, it's open till like March. So if you don't know that, like you have already missed a step. So try to do that. And please put in the work and keep practicing your writing. In all of these things that I've said, the only skill apart from like these strategies you are getting is your writing, because that's what they're going to evaluate you on. So keep practicing your writing. Again, be self-aware. I've talked to you about profile capital. So the way now, if you are looking at opportunities, if you are looking at job to choose, if you are looking at voluntary to choose, please be thinking about it. Is this thing adding capital to my profile? Do you understand? Let it look like a benchmark for you. And apply, apply, apply. Like I said, the only way you can know that your money is valuable is if you can use it to buy something from the market. So let this graduate school be the market. Apply and see how it works. Apply, keep improving, maximize your capital. Please don't try to say I must get into graduate school in 9 months. I'm happy for your ambition and I want to support it, but it's a gradual process. And it's also a self-awareing process for yourself. Because when you start, you'll be like, I thought I used to like this course, so I don't like it again. Do you get, because of what you have seen? So appreciate the process, and to the end, don't be afraid, treat it as a learning process and you'll be fine. So yeah, that's the end of the presentation. You've heard from me, and recommended reading, I'll send this book to the organizers, and then over to you. Put your questions in the chat and I'm having to take them. Thank you very much, and I'll stop sharing my screen.
All right, thank you so much, man. Thank you for that insightful and informative presentation. It was so good. And I'm sure our participants have gained valuable insights into navigating graduate studies and scholarship opportunities. Please, can we appreciate our speaker in the chat? Thank you so much. So now we'll move into the question and answer session. Right, so I got something. Let me say it first. If grades are not your strongest cards, use the next one. We all have other cards hidden in our deck. Find them, use them, and let them speak for you. Thank you so much for that. All right, so we'll be taking questions now. And okay, we'll be starting with the questions in the chat. But if you have any other question, please, if you feel like speaking, you can raise up your hand, or if you can drop it in the chat. So, okay, so we'll be starting with love it. Can you hear me, man?
Hi.
Okay, so the question is, I studied geology in BSc 22, and I've been looking for scholarships into renewable energy. Even though I'm currently in digital marketing role, what next steps can I take? Over to you, man.
So yeah, like I think, like I said, I'd like to see all of your profile, right? Like I've explained to you the different cards that you can play. You can't change your grade now. That's number one. But number two, you can start looking at publishing papers. You can start looking at going to conferences, and you can start looking at transitioning back to geology if possible. So, for example, the SP NAIS conference. If you are a geologist, perhaps you should know SP, you should know NAPES, you should know EGE, what's it called? And European Association of Geosciences, right? So try to join all of those things in the different chapters you are in. By the time we start from there, whether it's volunteering or is attending the webinars or something, perhaps you'll be able to transition back. Because now there are two things that within your control that you're not using. First of all, your job, your work experience is within your control, although like we know how Nigeria is, but it's not practically helping you right now because you're in digital marketing. So you can start looking how to, while you're in digital marketing, please, you need to get your butter and bread. So while you're there, if you get like you need to join those organizations so that you can start getting intels into opportunities in geology. And then the other cards you can use would be projects, right? If you can publish or if you can do more projects, you can start doing that. And courses, right? Look at go to I don't know, go to Coursera, go to some geology sites. I guess I think even on SP they have like technical certifications places and start taking courses. Third, another thing you might want to do is that since you're, like I said, research your options, you might not want to go directly to just applying. You might want to cold email professors first and say, oh, I'm interested in this topic or this thing. This is my profile. This, just so that you're not wasting your time basically. So the idea of researching options is so that you don't waste your time and so that you're putting your best foot forward. So that's what I was saying.
Okay, thank you very much, man, for that clear explanation. I'll be moving to the second question from Ebuka. A lot of scholarships are ongoing now, but most grad school applications are not open yet. Are we to wait till the applications are open or we start applying for the scholarships now? Second
So
question
you,
from him.
okay.
For the references, must he be someone from academia, like my boss or CTO also, right?
Okay, so I'm very glad you're aware that some scholarships are opening now. And like I said, follow the money and it depends on the instructions. So sometimes you'll be expected to search for the school first and then search for the scholarship later. But now you're realizing that the scholarship is open now. Sometimes you search for the scholarship first, then the school later. So let me give you some examples. I think for some examples is that Chevening expects you to apply for the scholarship first, and sometimes you like even while you're applying for the scholarship might not have even applied for your school first, right? Even PTDF will advise you. I mean, they expect that you should have an admission, but even if you don't have an admission yet, you can still apply for the scholarship. So everything is quite different based on different criterias. Um, read the instructions. If it says apply for the scholarship now, apply. If the scholarship is linked to a school, then look at the options you have in that school as well.
Okay, thank you so much. I have a question too. So,
Oh, okay.
looking
Sorry,
back
sorry,
at
sorry, sorry, sorry. I forgot one.
you didn't
Sorry.
respond.
Yes, I didn't say
Yes,
what was the second
sorry.
one. So the second one was referencing. So yes, like it must not be academic. So most of these people know that. So for example, if you stayed outside school for like 5 years or more, you might not have been in close what's it called communication with your academic people. So what can happen is that yes, your CTO can write your reference letter for you, but it has to pinpoint some core academic qualities. So some of the things this university wants to see is that, oh, can you work under pressure? Can you research things? Can you do independent research? You know, sometimes when you're working in an office, it's mostly can be mostly teamwork, except maybe if you're working in a place where it's independent research. So can you do an independent thing yourself? So your CTO, even if it's in the business place, should be able to speak to your leadership capabilities, your capabilities to handle stress or things like that. So you can write the reference letter for you, but speak to those capabilities that can be applied to your graduate school. And again, it depends on the instructions. Some instructions will tell you, okay, you need three reference letter, and out of those three, one must be academic. So if you like, I mean, your school is still existing, even if you say some of your lecturers have died, not all of them have died. You gotta look for them. But like I said, even if you feel like you don't have a lot of ties with them, right? Check I explained to you how from small things that you can do, you can build context for your reference letter. So that can still work.
Okay, man. The last question from Ebuka, I think he sent it twice. Is reference letter different from recommendation letter?
Um I think so. No, I think it is not. That's if your school does not say it is different. I don't think it is different basically. Reference letter is I'm writing as a referee. That's like I can speak to this what's it called? I can speak to your qualities that you have, and perhaps recommendation letters is I'm recommending you for this role. So I think it's just the style of writing, or basically I think for recommendation letters is that someone is asking, like perhaps recommendation letters is the reference that goes ahead to say, oh, I am recommending you for this role. And then for reference letters is the school saying, oh, I want you to bring a reference letter. So it's still the same letter. It's probably just the style. I don't think the style is different basically. I think it's about who asks, right? If nobody asks and your supervisor says, so I want to recommend you for this role, person say I'm writing to recommend. So I just think it depends basically. It's not different, it's the same. It should be the same.
Okay, man. All right. So the last question in the chat from Bofate. My question is that I studied library and information science with 2-1, and I want to pursue graduate studies in information and data science. What are my chances of getting scholarships? Because I haven't found much about scholarships for my course.
So I don't know the chances yet because I've known your course, but like I said, research. Um, you want to study data science and you did library and information library science. I think one of the things is you should try to find a link between you try to find a link between the library science and the data thing, right? So I think there's a thing about cataloging in library science. I don't know if it's a core research area. So how can you use data science or machine learning to help improve cataloging or something? Right? How come that if we take a screenshot of a text or a textbook, we don't even take the name of the textbook, but just some words from the textbook, it really tells us this word is from this book. How can we do it? So that's just one of the ways I'm thinking about how you can merge both. So like I said in the presentation, right? If you are seeing that there's no what's it called scholarship in, I can't, like I said, I cannot say there's no scholarship. It may just be that you are not just looking in the right place. But if you're saying that there's no scholarship there, just like what you said, then maybe you can start looking at data science scholarship, but then find a way to that, yeah, that data science application is related to your library and information science in a way. So that was same. But there should be scholarships for your field, hopefully. So maybe you're not saying external scholarship, but there are specific scholarships possible or internal scholarship. That's why I showed you the different types of scholarships.
Okay. Thank you, man. All right, there's another question here from Marian. What do you do when you've submitted an application with a referee that isn't available to respond to the school?
My dear. My dear, you look for another refuge. You look for another referee. That's why you have like a list of references, right? If you notice that, I think something like that happened to me. How do I have a list of references, guy? Create it. Don't just create one or two lists. Like have 10 people, or no, not 10, maybe five. That's okay. These are the list of references. They don't need to know each other. So I think something happened to me, something like that. My reference was supposed to submit, was not able to make it, my dear. I reached out to my what's it called? My the other list, the other people in the list, and I was like, hey, I'm really very sorry I'm reaching out to you very now. It is urgent. The person that should have referenced me is sick or something. I just made excuses for the person. Please, this is the reference letter, or these are the things that I highlighted. Can I what's it called? Customize it to based on our relationship together, so you can just help me submit. So my dear, desperate times calls for ethical desperate actions. So my dear, if you are checking in 2 days to submit, you have not submitted, 1 day to submit, the person is not answering you, maybe the person's phone has lost or something, please find a an immediate person to replace. Because I'm sure for most of these application processes, you can easily change the name of the reference that is there. Is because it's a basic requirement that you have to meet it.
Okay. So we'll take one more question. No, the last two questions and we'll round up. Still from Ebuka. When using the approach of cold mailing professors, do I have to work on a project related to what they are doing or work on one of their papers or just read them before reaching out? Or I can just reach out with my
I
work
think it
experience.
I think it depends on the strategy you want to use, right? Some people like it's just the same way you reach out to people on LinkedIn, basically. Sometimes, so it depends on sometimes how serious you want the person to take you. Oh, I really want to work with you. I have read this was how did you find the person to work with the person? You found the person on the website, Abby. What now made you interested to work with the person? The work of the person. So because you were interested in the person's work, you went to read on the work, right? So try to show that person the track process of having to find the person. Oh, hi, I'm interested. I saw your work on this, and it's interesting because of this. I read your paper, and it must not even be that you are criticizing the paper. I read your paper, and I think this idea that you're speaking of is important based on the situation that we are right now, the economic situation or the political situation, blah blah. I don't know if you're that's if you're applying to social sciences, something like that. And then you can say, okay, based on what I have, these are the experiences that can support our what's it called our like our work together. And then these are the places where there are gaps. I think for me, I try to identify that, oh, these are the things I have, these are the things I don't have, and I want to work with you so that I can have those things I don't have. Because sometimes when you don't identify the gaps, it also creates room for high expectations. And me, I don't like high expectations. So I try to tell you what it is. Okay, this is what I have, this is what I don't have, this is why I'm reaching out to you so that we can work together and we can close that gap. And these are the things I've done before now. And so sometimes it's also good for you to like add your CV. I think one of the good things about LinkedIn, you just now realizing that with LinkedIn, you can usually quote some message somebody, and it's easy for the person to just see your profile and see like your digital LinkedIn CV there, right? But it's an email. Person does not have like a place to click your profile. Person does not have that strength. So try to attach your a profile, which is like your CV or something, so that the person it can look like that LinkedIn digital CV as well. So that's what I'll tell you. You need to show interest in the person. If your the work you are working is different from the person, then try to explain why you need to do that work and it's important.
Okay, ma. Thank you. And from Isabel, what are the chances of a 2-2 in engineering grad gets a scholarship? That's from Isabel.
There are possibilities. I mean, I said this thing. Look at what you don't you have like your grade, you can't change it. Look at your courses, Isabel. Isabel, go and take like depending on the part of engineering that I want to do, go and take courses. Then after you finish taking those courses and you know your profile is deep, go and start looking for the schools that is within your reach. Like I said, you have three buckets of schools. Know how. You find the school that works for you, right? And then start looking. Another thing about scholarship I forgot to say was that, like I said, some scholarship are for you. Some scholarship don't look at your grade. Some scholarship are like we want is leadership potentials. Do you have leadership potentials? That's scholarship is for you. So scholarship will be like, oh, we need only need based people, people that are poor, they cannot afford this school. That's the people I want to fund, right? So sometimes even if you get to a school, as far as you can get the admission into a school, you've already shown that oh, you have the academic requirements to get into this school. Try to apply for like if the merit-based scholarship are not working for you, then look for other scholarships that are within reach, like maybe that are more focused on volunteering or that are within a department, right? So that's what I'll say. Basically, it's possible. And even if it's not possible, try to start taking courses, try to start building the profile. You'll realize that if someone has up to 7 years of experience working in a very nice place, sometimes the conversations about grades will be reduced because you've used your work experience to augment for it, right? So that's what I'll say. It's possible, but it's hard, but it's possible.
So Isabel, it's possible. If grades are not your strongest cards, use the next one. Thank you so much, speaker. Thank you for sharing such valuable insights and practical guidance. And to our audience, thank you for staying around. For those that ask questions, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So calling on Say for the closing remark.
Awesome. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear you,
All
sir?
right, cool. I think someone was up. Samidin. Before I go, is it a question, a comment? What? Because we have already overshot. Yeah, let's give you 1 minute to speak, Samidin.
Okay, thank you very much, Josephine. Thank you, Shay. Thank you, Elijah. So, this has been very nice. You know, all the insights that you gave, they were very, very nice. And the heads up as well. So, one thing I just want to ask is that, like, is there a community of, like you said before, you shouldn't do it and then hide or just keep it away from people and stuff like that. So I don't know if there's a community where people who are applying, you can ask questions, get clarification and stuff like that. So that's just all I wanted to ask. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for asking. I think the question is making me to think because just realizing that most of the communities I'm part of are private communities, but I listed like some. Yeah, I think all of the podcasts are private but communities, but then I think you can even start from within yourselves first, and perhaps maybe build up development initiative can start it, and then I think some of the things you can do is to follow people online that usually shares like these opportunities on graduate school. I think if you start engaging with their posts, someone will find you and all of you will find yourself. But again, I also posted like things like Michael Taiwo scholarship platform, posted things like what's it called? Um I Scholars Initiative and Education USA. For Education USA, right, there is the general group, but you have to have attended some of their programs. So type Education USA, look for based on your state. I think they are available in Lagos, Port Harcourt, Calabar, and I think other places, but I'm very sure of these three. So find them and try to attend their monthly programs. I think their monthly programs is free. It's not based on membership. Um I also say you should ask your senior colleagues. I don't know the school you are in or something, but I think you should ask your senior colleagues. And now that you vocally said it, I'm sure if anybody finds an open community, they can always invite you in. And also check on YouTube, right? Some people like have like they're sharing scholarship journeys and they will put like the link to their community as well. Sorry for now, I don't have a community yet, so maybe if I do, I should have shared. But I think this is what you can do for now.
All right. Thank you very much, Josephine. It's been an amazing session hearing from you. I've always known Josephine to be a very amazing person. This is the first time I'm attending a session she's facilitating. Thank you very much for honoring our invitation. It means a whole lot. Um, yeah. I believe we have gotten some valuable insight from today's session, right? I'm definitely sure you've gotten something valuable. If you want to share it on your social media, feel free to do so. You can tag us at UW Development Initiative. You can tag Josephine Adah on it. Just share your thoughts on what you've learned from this meeting. Yeah. So if you want to also be part of what we're doing at UW Development Initiative, you can join our WhatsApp channel. We have a WhatsApp community where we drop updates on things that's happening in our community. We do that as often as we can. We have other projects that are coming on the way, and we'll be dropping updates on the community where you can get a chance to also volunteer and be part of the change that we are building. Yeah, you can also check us out on social media, UW Development Initiative, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. We're pretty active almost on every social media platform. You can just reach out to us. Also, you can check out our YouTube. I'll drop the link in the chat. You can check out our YouTube. Has some of our activities. Like I mentioned earlier, this meeting would be pushed up on our YouTube channel also. You get the link via mail. Thank you very much. All right, Happiness, I got your message. I will do that. All right, thank you, everyone. It's been an amazing almost 2 hours, or more than 2 hours, actually. Almost 2 hours. Yeah, almost 2 hours. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And see you on our next event. Have an amazing evening, everyone. And good luck on your graduate studies journey. All right, bye.